You were, when we spoken before, you were very, very keen to talk about your team, and you were talking about their influence. Miriam, who's also in Spain, has said, do you train mainly alone or with a team or a teammate?
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier when we talked a little bit about motivation, for me, it's all about finding ways to not really have to motivate myself to go training. So, I want to go out for a bike ride because I'm going with my mates, or, we make it competitive. So it's not like, oh, you're doing 5 minutes of this and 3 minutes of this. We go, right, we're doing this route and we're racing these segments. And so, yeah, the people around you in a training sense are really important. And there's a core group of 4 or 5 guys, including my brother, that I train with kind of day in, day out. But there's a wider sphere of people. Obviously, I live in North Leeds, so a wider sphere of people. It's a great place to train with loads of people around here. And when I travel to various places and kind of know people I can train with, and that's really important. But then there's the team of people kind of around the bigger picture. I stand on the start line and race, dive off that pontoon and swim, cycle and run. But to get there, obviously there's a lot of training, but there's a lot of everything around it, so obviously, everyone will know you've got to have a coach, and I have a various number of coaches and advisors now that I kind of use, and then as I've got older, that medical staff are really important. So physio, masseur, sports doc, and I have physio massage at least once a week, every week. So that's really, really important. And looking after having a gym coach as well, and then loads of, I can access anything if I want it. So if I want to talk to a physiologist about how do I adapt and train at altitude for different stimulus, or use heat training, and then bike mechanics, using aerodynamics for bike, how fast you can go on your bike, for example. It does actually get really technical and interesting, but I won't bore you with all of that. But the important kind of gist of it is, there's a big team of people around me, I guess a smaller core team, and then a much bigger, wider team of people that you can go out and use it if I want and need.
You mentioned your brother earlier. I guess that as well as being an absolute natural winner, which you are, as well as being a world champion, you're also known for that event in Mexico. Is it amazing watching that back, or have you seen it a million times now and it's the emotion factor has gone?
Yeah, I've seen it quite a few times, but yeah, it's still amazing watching it back. The thing for me, and it always will be, is just frustration, because like he'd won that race, and for me, he was like, he just messed this up. I mean, to give some context to the day, that was at the end of 2016. We'd had the perfect season, really won races, come first and second in the Olympic Games. Johnny just kind of had to get around that race to win the world championship, so I'm thinking, I'm in this tropical Caribbean island in Mexico, thinking this is great, end of the year, Johnny's going to win the world champs, I won the Olympics, great holiday after this, can't wait for tonight, kind of literally thinking of the cold beer that I'm going to have in the next 10 minutes, and I get around the last corner, and Johnny's stumbling across the road. I was like, oh no. I would say it's still just frustrating, really, it's fascinating, kind of the impact that had straight afterwards. We crossed the line and had people saying, we don't know if that's in the rules. I didn't know whether it was in the rules or not. At the time, I didn't really care. I was like, just got to get him to the finish line, and that's that. And so at the time, Johnny's like in intensive care, literally, on kind of life support, as it were. They're trying to make sure, because when your body starts heating up, you get a really hot core temperature, you shut down your peripheral circulation, so you're not cooling yourself anymore, and you, at that point, if you're not sorted out, you can actually die quite quickly. So it's a very serious situation to be in. Obviously we're in Mexico, so my mum and dad are ringing me, and my mum's absolutely irate. At the same time, I've got some official shouting at me saying, these are the rules. Got one of the other athletes saying, what you're doing, you're a cheat. And then and it was just absolute carnage. And so I actually went to bed that night thinking, oh no, what have I done? I've never broken the rules before. What a disaster. And I woke up the next morning to the kind of, switched my phone on, and whatever, Twitter and Instagram, whatever, just had gone absolutely mad with people watching the clip from this race. So it was a really crazy kind of 24 hours.
Was that just total natural instinct, he's my brother, I'm going to help him? Or was there a part of you that thought, hang on a sec, if I go past him, I could be world champion here?
Yeah, well, so I mean, it happened so quickly. You've got to, the context of that is it's at the end of a super hot 2-hour race, so you're not thinking very straight anyway. And like came around that corner, and literally you've got a second or two to decide. I just decided to grab him and start running towards the finish line. As we're running towards the finish line, you know, then you can actually see on the video, I start looking behind, and that's the point I'm going, oh, I've got to make sure we're not caught from the people behind, because also if Johnny can still cross the line in second, there's still a chance he can win the world championship. So that's why he kind of crosses, I get him across the line, and I'm looking behind, and at that point, yeah, I'm kind of thinking, and yeah, kind of working out the ramifications of it all. But yeah, the first action was just grabbing him and getting him towards the finish line, and yeah, not giving it a second thought. I didn't have the time or the mental capacity at the time to do it.
No, understood. Shows what a great guy you are as well.
Thank you. Most of the time.
If it hadn't been your brother who was cramping up, would you have helped anyone across the line?
I get asked this all the time, and yeah, I mean, you don't know, because you know it's the situation and it happened so fast, etc., etc. But yeah, I like to think so. Yes, that thing had actually happened to me quite a few years before that, and I'd had heat exhaustion and was basically kind of capitulating before the line, and I woke up in a hospital bed, and at the time I was winning the race, I woke up in a hospital bed. I said, where did it come? And they said 10th or 11th. I was like, what? How did so many people pass me? And when you watch the video pass, there's like people sprinting past me, even though I'm like collapsing down the line. So I did kind of swear then. I was like, right, if this ever happens and I'm on the other end of this, I'd help someone over the line.
Awesome. I think I'd have gone past. Does that make me a bad person?
No, not really. I think all's fair in love and war and in sport as well.
Please do subscribe, hit the button.